Debbie is being visited by Ophelia. So what are we about to watch? An episode of the Clowny the Clown Show. The actor who plays that character is one of my cousins, but now he is a big star. He started out as a comedian under his original name, but then invented his clowny persona to appeal more to children. And then he blew up in popularity. Okay, let's watch. But Dr. Clowny, why must I get a shot? Won't it hurt?
The pain only lasts a few seconds, Cindy. Trust me, getting sick because you didn't get the shots prescribed to you is a lot worse.
Debbie, have you read on the internet about claims that vaccinations cause autism? Yes, but there is a lot wrong with that claim. First, there is no real evidence that claim was ever true. The doctor who started that nonsense, Andrew Wakefield, was eventually exposed as a fraud and stripped of his medical license after a review of his activities by his peers. No one else was ever able to confirm Wakefield's claims. Second, even if that claim was true at all, the idea that it is better for kids to suffer or even die of preventable diseases like the measles or polio than to live with autism is ableist bigotry. You're right. I didn't think of that.
Clowny, thanks for your help with the patient. Keeping him calm made prepping him for surgery a lot easier. Glad to be of help, Dr. Drake. See you later.
Thanks, Debbie. Clowny has gained a new fan today.
Good afternoon, class. I am Andrew Maynard, and I will be your new math teacher, replacing Mr. Hernandez, who was promoted to principal of this school. He and I spent this past weekend discussing the math curriculum, and I am now ready to proceed where he left off.
I already feel like things are so much better now than they were before. We were only lucky. Call me a pessimist, but I don't ever think we should take our present good fortune for granted. Ophelia is right. Ted, his father, and Martha are still out there. They could seek revenge. Who is Martha? She was an older girl that I used to be in a gang with. She was very much a female version of Ted Wilson. She would scam other girls by promising to protect them from bullies. But if you did not pay her, she would bully you instead.
The hall monitor program started by my predecessor was a good idea, but he managed it wrongly, Scott. Starting tomorrow, you will be the leader of the hall monitors. The others will answer to you and you in turn will answer to me.
Understood, Mr. Hernandez.
After school on Friday, we will have a meeting of all the hall monitors to plan for the following week. But for now, dismissed. Andrew, is Carrie Sims in your class today?
Yes, sir. She is right here as we speak.
Give her your phone so I may speak to her.
Carrie, Mr. Hernandez wants to talk to you.
This is Carrie. What can I do for you, sir?
Turn the phone speaker up so everyone in the class can hear me.
Done, sir.
Attention all 7th graders. I am happy to announce that as of next week, Carrie Sims will become our newest hall monitor, replacing Ted Wilson. Congratulations, Carrie.
Thank you, sir. I am honored.
You may hang up the phone and return it to Mr. Maynard now.
Looks like we have nothing to worry about. Right. I feel safer already. Wow. So your house has an entire room devoted to weights and other equipment for exercise. That's right. After I turned against Martha and got her sent to jail, my Aunt Jennifer bought me all that stuff you saw for my 13th birthday. I've been training with it ever since. Well, seeing how ferociously you attacked that punching bag makes me wonder. Would you ever hurt me? Never in a million years. I would use my strength and skills to protect you. And my mother's. Let me show you something. That was of my mother Jessica when she was 10 years old. A few months after that pic was taken, she was molested by one of her uncles. But she only told me of the incident after I joined Martha's gang. She said her uncle was a bully as much as Martha was, and just as she was willing to report what her uncle did to stop his abuse, I should do the same to Martha. So I did. And I felt 100% better after doing so. And I vowed from then on I would be for real what Martha pretended to be, a protector of other girls. But to be a protector of others, I must be willing to be violent to abusers. Like Ted Wilson. Exactly. Let's go to the weight room and I will show you how to use all that equipment. Then someday you can be as strong as me.
I want this entire hallway swept and mopped, Wilson. You have 1 hour to do it, so get busy.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. First my own big brother backstabs me, then my wife files for divorce. All because I tried to provide for my son. Now I am a mere janitor.
Aunt Jennifer, you don't need to do this. I can walk to and from school just fine. Carrie, I will not argue with you about this. If something happens to you because of either Martha Sanchez or Ted Wilson, your mothers will be ruined. It's because they value you so highly that they asked me to protect you. And Principal Hernandez agrees with us. I should be the one protecting others. This is so humiliating. How are you two doing? We are fine. Thank you for doing this, officer. No problem. At least you appreciate my efforts, unlike some people around here. Will I never stop being treated like a child? Sure, Carrie. When you stop being a child.
Okay, let us proceed with the meeting. Scott, are all the hall monitors present?
Yes, Mr. Hernandez. Everyone is accounted for. These are the floor plans for the school. Currently, there are 5 hall monitors, myself, Lisa Grimes, Fred Handley, Diana Croak, and Carrie Sims. Carrie is our newest member, so I'd like you others to introduce yourselves to her.
Hello, Carrie. I am Lisa Grimes and I am in 9th grade.
Hi, I'm Fred Handley and I'm in 8th grade.
And I am Daniel Krog and I'm also in 8th grade. Welcome to the team, Carrie.
Okay, let us proceed. The school is divided into 5 sections, 1 for each hall monitor. The hall monitors will be expected to leave their classes about 5 minutes before the end of each period to go to their assigned positions. Then they will remain at their positions, watching out for trouble, until about 5 minutes after the next period starts, upon which they will proceed to their assigned classes. I will be at the section next to the English classroom. Lisa will watch the section closest to and including the gym. Fred will be next to the science class. Dinah will be near the math class, and Carrie will be closest to the principal's office and the cafeteria.
That's the section Ted Wilson was assigned to, wasn't it?
Yes. Hopefully you will manage it better than he did.
And will we be armed with weapons of any kind?
No, why ask that? Our purpose is not to hurt anyone, but to watch out for trouble and report it to the principal.
And what if some lunatic shows up with a gun and starts a mass shooting? Without guns of our own, we'd be useless. Debbie arrives home after another day at school. Mother is not home yet, so I guess I can start making dinner for her. Debbie goes to the kitchen, where she finds a note written hours earlier. Debbie, look in the freezer and take out one of the frozen pizzas and put it in the oven at about 5 p.m. I don't care which. Pizza again. Every other day we have another pizza. I know they are cheap, but how much longer are we having to live like we are poor? Debbie does comply with her mother's order. About an hour later. Debbie, I have great news. The FBI tracked down your father's killers and arrested them in California yesterday. They will be sent back to Tulsa to stand trial. Awesome. So, are we going back to Tulsa? I am going back to help prosecute the killers. But you need to stay here and keep attending the school. So I will be here all by myself? No, of course not. I have asked the Sims couple and Carrie to take you in for about a week while I am in Tulsa. I hope you and Carrie will get along well while you are living together. You and she are both only children, so having to live together like sisters will be a new challenge for both of you. I'm sure I can handle it. It's only for a week or so, right? I'll get that. And when Sandy Smith answers the door. Steve Miller, what are you doing here?
It's not obvious. I know my daughter is here and I want to see her.
Steve, you are only Debbie's genetic father, but legally you are not related to her. And while Debbie knows she is adopted, Rich and I never told her who her original parents were. I don't think she will be ready for that knowledge yet for some time to come.
Why not let Debbie herself decide that? And since Rich is dead, doesn't she still need a father in her life? That's what I am willing to offer her now.
All right, I will ask her. But the fact that you found my current address, which was supposed to be a secret, is disturbing to me. One moment. Mother, who is that outside? Someone you know? Well, yes. He is, in fact, your genetic father. And he wants to see you. Really? So why not just let me meet him? There is just one problem, though. I believe he may have been the one responsible for killing your adoptive father as part of a plan to steal you away from me. I can't prove that yet. But if he was involved in the murder plot, I can't risk him kidnapping you. I have an idea. Carrie, can you send your Aunt Jennifer to my house? We may need her. There is a man here who claims to be my father, but I've never seen him before. Sure, let me call her and ask her to visit you. All right, Mother, let's get this over with. I just hope you were wrong about this. Sandy allows Steve to meet Debbie inside the house while she waits outside. You claim to be my original father, but I've never even heard of you. What happened to make you give me up for adoption?
14 years ago, I was involved with a married woman, but I did not know of her marriage. When she became pregnant, she dumped me and it was only later that I found out about her husband. So I tracked both of them down and confronted the woman about her affair with me. Then when you were born, a DNA test confirmed that I was your father and not her husband, so he divorced her. Because she had lied to me, I rejected her too and so she became a single mother. Then she gave you up for adoption after hooking up with yet another man who did not want kids at all. By the time I was aware of what happened, you had been adopted by the Smiths. And they refused to let me see you.
I understand. Well, you and my birth mother may have given me life, but you didn't give me a home. The Smiths did, so they are my parents, forever.
But your father is now dead. Couldn't I take his place for your sake?
That is for my mother to decide. For now, I'd rather you leave. Thanks for showing up so quickly. So you think that man may have had your husband killed? Do you have any proof? Not yet, but I am hoping that when the two men who actually killed Rich are brought to trial, they will be willing to point the finger at Steve as the one responsible. Another possibility is a huge drug kingpin I was helping to prosecute for murder. He may have killed Rich as a warning to me.
I just finished talking with Debbie, and she says she does not want a relationship with me, at least not yet, so I will respect her wishes and not bother her again. I just felt like she should have the option of seeing me.
We can discuss this again when Debbie is out of high school and an adult. For now, go. I told him to go away and not come back. But now I am worried. If he did kill my father, he is a criminal and it is strange to me that half of my DNA came from a criminal. And my birth mother was a cheater. I'm a product of adultery. It's not a matter of where you came from, but what you choose to do with your life. As I like to say, there are no illegitimate children, only illegitimate parents. That's an excellent point. Now if you will excuse me, I have more patrols to do. Goodbye. As Sandy goes back up to Tulsa to help prosecute her husband's killers, Debbie stays with Carrie at her home. I've been talking with the other hall monitors about what can be done to make the school more secure. One idea is to have lots of students take martial arts courses at the school after normal school hours. Interesting. So what martial arts have you studied? My Aunt Jennifer taught me some karate and kickboxing and then had me meet a professional karate instructor. I took lessons from him for 4 months. Maybe he could teach you too.
Debbie told me she was here. May I see her?
Sure. In fact, we are about to have dinner. Come join us.
Will you be serving meat? I'm a vegetarian.
We actually started serving vegan meals after Carrie was found to be lactose intolerant. No meat, no dairy products, and only occasionally eggs.
Awesome. I can eat anything made with fruits and vegetables. I also drink lots of fruit juices. My doctor marvels at how healthy and strong I am.
Debbie, are you okay? I guess I just have to get used to meatless dinners. Sorry if I seem ungrateful. I can add some sugar to your veggies.
I think once you get used to a meatless diet, you won't want to go back.
Perhaps.
Sandy Smith has returned to Tulsa to confront the ones who killed her husband Rich several months ago. She teams up with the district attorney of Tulsa to interrogate the suspects separately.
Jack Mason, we have security footage taken at the club my husband owned showing you and your partner invading it with semi-automatic rifles. You shot more than a dozen club patrons and employees, but Rich was the only one you two shot more than once. In fact, you pumped more than 20 shots in him, so.
It's obvious that he was the primary target. The question is, why did you kill him? Who recruited you to eliminate him? If you confess to the murder and point us to the one who hired you, I'm willing to give you a sentence of less than 10 years. If you refuse, or if your partner corrects before you do, you will receive a life sentence, and maybe even the death penalty. So, what's it going to be? Alright, I'll tell you what I know. Buck and I were hired by Mr. Munson, because he thought that killing your husband would send a clear message that anyone willing to testify against Munson would be a target.
Do you have proof that Munson hired you?
Yes. Just check my and Buck's bank records and those of Fred Munson. He paid us each $8,000 for the deed. He also arranged for our flight to California.
Munson is such an idiot. He was only charged with drug dealing, which Rich knew about, but killing Rich means Munson will be charged with murder.
Jack was the one who persuaded me to join him. I needed the money Munson offered to pay off this massive debt I owed the local loan shark. Jack has been a hired gun for Munson for years. He is the worst criminal. I'll gladly testify against both of them.
Good. It will be a pleasure nailing Jack Mason and Fred Munson. Assuming you are telling the truth.
Jack told me everything. He is prepared to testify against Mr. Munson.
Well done, Mrs. Smith. With both the murder suspects confessing, we should be able to put Munson away for good. This is your fault. Why did we have to go after Rich Smith in his club, and in front of dozens of people? We should have waited until after the club was closed.
Hey, I never would have killed anyone if you hadn't talked me into it.
Lucy goes to a pharmacy to get more Pepto-Bismol. But the pharmacy manager, Damien, offers her something different.
I used to also suffer from lactose intolerance, but I started taking special pills at every meal and they helped me a lot. These pills contain the enzymes that allow for the digestion of lactase, the special sugar in milk and other dairy products. Here, try them.
How much for this bottle?
For you, nothing. You and your daughter may try them for a week and then tell me how it went. Then you may buy more from me later.
Thank you. You are most kind.
Once they get used to using the pills, I'll start charging them plenty for the future doses. And make a huge profit.
Debbie, I'm thinking of allowing Steve Miller visitation rights to you. After all, we have established that he had nothing to do with your adoptive father's death, and he wants to see you. I did a background check on him and he not only has a clean legal record, he is married with 2 children. Both boys. Wow, so I have 2 little brothers. How old are they? They are 6 and 4 years old. All right. I will meet them too. Steve, Debbie has agreed to see you again, but I insist on 2 conditions.
Name them.
First, you must come to Fort Worth. And second, you must bring your family. Debbie wants to see her brothers too.
One moment. Georgia, how would you feel about us all going to visit my daughter Debbie? My wife agrees. So should we come to your house again?
I'm thinking we should meet at the Tuscany Tavern, a popular Italian restaurant. I'll text you its address.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Lucy, I want to make a special reservation at your restaurant. For 6 people. Sure. So when and for what purpose?
Sandy Smith arrives with Debbie at the Tuscany Tavern.
A table large enough for 6 people has been arranged for you. I hope that will do.
Yes, that's perfect. Steve and his family should be arriving in 20 minutes.
So you are focused on punctuality, eh? I just hope all goes well.
I had a feeling he wouldn't show up. Mother, why don't you try calling him? Maybe he had a flat tire or some other mishap with his car.
I hope everything goes well.
So what did you tell her about her birth mother?
Just that she lied to me about being single and then abandoned me and went back to her husband. She used me as a sperm donor because her husband was infertile.
Right, and then her husband divorced her anyway. For another woman who never wanted children. What an idiot she was. I'm so glad we talked about our plans for a family before we tied the knot.
I think that's the restaurant ahead. So, are you boys ready? Yes, Father. I can't wait to meet our big sister. I hope she's nice.
Welcome to the Tuscany Tavern. Steve Miller and family, I presume?
That is correct. We are here to meet my daughter, Debbie. Debbie, allow me to introduce you to my family. This is my wife, Georgia, the mother of our 2 boys.
Hello, Debbie.
And these are my sons. Jacob is the one in black, and Jason is the one in yellow. Hi, Debbie. Hi.
It's good to meet all of you. Let's eat.
Father, now that we have met our sister, is she going to live with us in Tulsa? That's something we would have to work out with Debbie and with Sandy Smith. Legally, Sandy is Debbie's mother, not Georgia, your mother.
Sandy and her husband, Richard, chose me to be their daughter. At the time, your father wasn't even married and was not wanting kids yet. I can certainly have a relationship with all of you. But Sandy is the one I will always call my mother. Because I know she loves me.
Exactly. I am happy just knowing you are being loved and taken care of by a good woman. Unlike my ex who literally screwed me over for selfish purposes. You and your big mouth, Jacob. Now you have ruined the moment.
Debbie and I have gotten used to life in Fort Worth. But I wouldn't mind her spending summers at your home in Tulsa, Steve. That seems only fair.
Sandy, I understand you are a lawyer. Maybe we could draw up a legal document defining the custody arrangements between you and Steve so we can always know where, and with whom, Debbie belongs.
Sure. Let's all go to my house and work everything out. So here are the terms of the custody agreement. Debbie and I have signed it. Now it is your turn.
Yes, this is acceptable. You are actually being quite generous in being willing to share Debbie with me. I will sign this too.
I will file this document at the Fort Worth City Hall and then mail you a copy for your own records. How do you feel about having brothers? I sometimes wish I had a brother or sister, but my mother's made the choice to stop at one. Overpopulation issues, they said. It's just something I have to get used to. Before I met them, you were the closest thing I had to a sister, Carrie.
Does that mean we have two sisters? No, silly. It means they're best friends. Girls do form a de facto sisterhood among themselves.
So how old are you two?
I'm 6 and Jason is 4. People often mistake us for twins, but I never wear glasses and always try to wear a different color from my brother. Because I am my own person, not just his sidekick.
So not only will Steve have custody of me for the summer months, but for the rest of the year while I live with you he will pay you $1,000 a month in child support. How did you talk him into that? I didn't. He offered me that money to compensate me for the loss of your adoptive father and to gain my trust. He's a much better man than I thought he would be. Maybe in a different reality, I could have married him and been your actual birth mother. Perhaps. But I am happy with the arrangements that were made, and that you agreed to them for my sake. I love you, Mother.